So I have developed this platform to air out every single thing that annoys me about the world, about people, not really as a whole person, but just parts of myself that I see in other people that I'm annoyed at. And so when I am annoyed at somebody else, I also see that within me. And looking at a reflection is annoying. So when I say stuff on Facebook, I'm actually confirming it to myself to remember never ever come from that point of view ever again. And so being critical of other people and learning that that is also being critical of yourself and using that information to better my world and how I interact, my tolerance level, that's the point of why I do what I do, because I am learning about myself by looking at every single one of you guys. And again, when I get annoyed at certain things that some of you say on Facebook, not everything, but some things that you say, and it's at the pit of my stomach, I'm not going to stuff it down and be like, whatever. I'm going to explore it. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to understand it, because I've had things where I would just feel so weird about, like, events in the media, events in our world, and something in my gut would tell me that it's, that something's wrong here, but I don't know what it is, and it's worth exploration. And so but it has taken me 10 years. It's taken me 10 years to figure it out. Well, what is this it you're talking about? Why is it what is the 10 years? What is that coming from? Well, the whole thing with the conspiracy world, okay, we hear about what the media wants to portray conspiracy theorists, okay? We know that's another context that, yeah, you can adopt their perception of conspiracy theorists and people questioning official narratives, questioning everything. And that's fine, because that is a safe place to be, If your illusion is the world is one way, if that's the illusion that you want to adopt, that the world is one way, and you want your world to reflect this way of the world because it keeps peace, it keeps order, it keeps, stability, it keeps predictability. I applaud anyone that says, I'm going to keep with this specific illusion because I have a family to run, I have a business to run, I have food to put on the table, I have people that I want to grow old with and go through the processes with. I completely understand why you would stick with this specific illusion, whatever it is. And if there's a support system for that illusion, and it's feeding you, and it's feeding your family, and it's keeping you in relative sanity, fucking A, absolutely. That's what I had to learn, okay, for myself, is even though there's like a million different illusions, and a million different contexts, and a million different truths, and a million different lifestyles, if this lifestyle, this one illusion is working for you, I say that's awesome. Now, if you're working from that illusion and someone else is giving you that allowance to live in that illusion, whatever that is, then reciprocate that and allow someone else to have their other illusion about whatever else is going on. But why? It's not quid pro quo. I'm not in some agreement with you. Well, then if you're intolerant of somebody else's illusion and you're saying stuff about this and that, then you have to expect someone else is going to question your belief system, your illusions, everything else. And so that's where the wars come, is when you're questioning other people's illusion and making them wrong and all this stuff. And in a lot of ways, it's good to do that because it'll help you, and I'm saying you and me, figure out if that's really the illusion you want to stay with, or if there's another illusion out there that's actually better, that'll offer more benefits. But you'll never know that until you explore it and argue back and forth with it. And so that's why I've been in so many different illusions. Conspiracy world, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, star seeds, all that stuff, right? All the different politics, religion, science, dogmas. And when I was taking that right-wing conspiracy, like back in the Obama days, okay, I was arguing back and forth with the left wing. I was taking a very right-wing stance and defended the right wing. And I had so many people in the left wing world to say, you're this, you're that, whatever. And you argue it to death. That's the thing. You argue that point to death until you realize that that's not the only argument out there. And then you take the other side and you defend the liberal side. You defend whatever you were arguing against prior, and you defend that to death until you realize there is no benefit, and that's not the only argument out there. Because there's another truth, another context, another thing. And it's God, it was like, and so the whole debating, like I learned how to debate. I learned the different elements of a debate, ad hominem. That's, what is it? There's other, here, I don't even think about this. What is it? Ad hominem. Yeah, fallacy, logical fallacy. People use these terms on people when they're providing an argument that they don't agree with, and they're just throwing these terms at them. Okay? Which, yeah, okay, they are probably relevant when you're responding to someone with insults. There's always a term and a concept that will explain how you are arguing with people. Okay? And so there definitely is a structure to debate, and then a psychological programming around it, and then there's the terms and concepts that explain how people react to the information and how they present information. And so it takes a long time when you think about it, because you have to actually get into the game and present your arguments, even if they're not well thought out. They're just arguments that you're parroting. Then when I went to as far as proving, well, yeah, look at money, and this company is being provided to this organization, money from this company is being provided to this organization. So then you're looking for the proof. You're looking for the proof to back up your argument. And since all arguments out there are relevant, credible, relative to the illusion that you want to stand in that's supported by an infrastructure, everyone's correct. Like, everyone is literally correct. And so then it's just the Tower of Babel, because everyone has provided their proof that is totally credible, relevant, and based on their biases. And so people don't want their illusions destroyed, so they'll defend their illusions, their perception, their realities till the very end. Hello, Robert. Nice to see you. Okay. But people don't want their illusions destroyed. I'm sorry you have neuropathy. I hope you can find relief, whatever that means. Everyone's baseline is different. Your perception of what energy should manifest based upon your own... Okay. Everyone's baseline is different. It's your perception of what energy should be manifest based upon your own baseline. Maturity is when you discover your baseline isn't what the world goes by. Okay? The ability to adapt doesn't have a baseline, because your baseline is still based upon a perception of the world that could change. And so right now, Robert Headley's baseline is that he's in pain right now, and he's trying to get out of it. But like I said, when you have so many predispositions, like so many of them, and you have to release the demons, and you have to eat food, and you have to deal with it, your baseline right now is going to be you're in pain until the body finally releases those demons. Okay? And there is no telling what time or anything. You can't be the one to dictate how it should be, how long it should be. That's not for you to decide. It's your body now is in control, because you've controlled your body for such a long time and caused so much harm to it that now you have to pay the piper. And sometimes paying the piper is expensive, and it takes a while. Remember, I've done this for 7 fucking years. Okay? I've been in this information, this conversation for 7 fucking years. I'm not saying it's going to take that long, but I'm saying that you have to, like I read my book, okay? Eat food, drink milk, blow your nose, get that poop out, and just deal with the pain. If that's not your forte, do what you have to do. Go see a doctor. All right? And so planning equals conspiracy. What are you planning? What are you conspiring to be for a predictable or unpredictable outcome? And so again, are you going to plan to deal with this stuff? Or are you going to conspire with yourself to find a way to stop your body from releasing? Because pain is releasing, and then cause your body to then be like in equilibrium, but then you'll have to deal with that again. And that outcome could be much worse. So now, what are you planning? To have it worse later? Or are you planning just to ride it out? Or it just depends on what you can handle. I can't make that decision for you. So planning equals conspiracy. What are you planning? What are you conspiring to be for a predictable or unpredictable outcome? What is your intent, Robert Headley? What is your intent? Again, not everyone discloses their intent. Not everyone discloses all their intentions and perceived desirable outcomes. So you may think right here in your head, I want to ride out the pain, but inside you're like, fuck, do I have what it takes to ride out the pain? And when you want to get rid of the pain, your body, your head says, okay, well, I guess I can't handle the pain, so I'm going to go do this. And it depends on which is stronger. Your head saying, nope, I can't deal with it because it's going to take more energy out of me. I don't have what it takes to deal with the pain. And so your head's going to go and take a remedy or go get something taken out or whatever it is. And is that for me to say that's right or wrong? It's you are the one that has to make the choice. You have all the information. You have all those safety nets out there to take away the pain if it even is possible in this environment. But again, what is your intent? Okay, so sometimes you don't know consciously your intent because you're thinking one way, but your body's thinking another way. And that's where you're going to have to figure out. Are you going to intellectually understand and then support your body physically with food and release? Or you're going to let the demons in your body tell you to take away the pain prematurely without you earning that? And again, I can't be the one to decide for you. You're the one that has to decide how much you can handle. And you may not be able to handle the pain. Maybe you need to go see a doctor. Maybe that neuropathy is really too much for you. Maybe it is necessary. But again, I can't make that decision for you. And so Judas conspired. Caesar was killed by his own. Okay? Remember, you have demons in your body that will destroy you if you allow them to. So you have to be the one stronger than those demons. And that's, again, not for me to say. Conspiracy happened even 2,000 or 6,000 years ago in all different governments, great or small, because there's always somebody that wants somebody else's power, jealousy, competition for resources. That's what's going on in your body, Robert. Competition for resources. Or to lead or guide a population toward a particular outcome. What kind of performance needs to be developed so people react in a very particular way? Remember, trauma bonds can be just as strong as hydrogen bonds in a human body, or destroy a human body. In a planned, organized society, all politics, religion, and science, all outcomes are the intention. See, back in 2008, I remember when I saw the inauguration of Obama, and I loved his inspiring speech. I remember to this day being like, oh my God, this guy is so amazing. He's such a great orator. He just has the dreams, the hope and change, and we're going to have a new America, a new this. I mean, he was laying it on thick. And then a couple years later in 2010, 2011, and I'm listening to Alex Jones, right? I happened to find his video, The End Game, from Loose Change, Change the Channel, Change the Channel. That was a channel on YouTube. So that guy on Change the Channel, or girl, put Endgame on their channel, and I watched it so many times, and I'm like, oh my God, a different world, holy shit. It woke me up that there could be another reality other than what was given to me. And so then I was looking back at the mortgage crisis going like, how did Obama let this happen? Because he was also, questioning Obama and saying Obama's part of this and part of that and all that. Alex Jones was. And then it keyed into me to question, well, I know what goes on in my world. How does things happen where all of a sudden now we have a crisis? Weren't there indicators? When you're a government with so many access to resources and people talk, people say stuff, rumors happen. But even aside from that, you can have actual planning. Well, we know how to get this loophole, this loophole, this loophole. We're going to do this. We know how this is going to happen. If we make it easy to get money and easy to get loans, even if you don't qualify for the parameters, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, but we're going to loosen the parameters and give credits to anyone that wants a home. And even if you don't have a job or don't have or you have stated income but not provable income, hey, whatever, we'll give you a loan. Okay. And so when you're giving free money, when you think about it, to people who didn't qualify for these things, what do you think is going to happen? It's like throwing money out there in the street and watching everyone scramble around and go and catch it and find it and keep it. That's how desperate, when you know how desperate people are, it's so easy to dangle money, dangle material items, dangle fame and power and wealth and peace and healing, right? When people are that desperate, that's what happens. So that I can't imagine that wasn't like, I can't imagine it wasn't planned. I'm sure it was planned, but could I prove it? No. Because when you're loosening, dude, come on. When people are buying mortgages that don't qualify, and these are like subprime loans, the who are these agencies? Not the National Security Agency. The ones that do the finance people. Now just the name just escaped me. Oh God. FINRA. FINRA knows this stuff. And all those, Wall Street knows this. Everyone high up in Wall Street knew this. Even these mortgage places knew, like Countrywide. It couldn't fathom how Obama couldn't know this could happen. What is the name of those agencies? Oh my God. I don't even have all the government agencies' name. FINRA. Okay, there's FINRA. What's the other? Yeah, FINRA. Okay. The SEC, thank you. The SEC. How could the SEC not know this shit? Of course they know this. But can you prove it? What do people know and when did they know it, right? And so when I was questioning the mortgage crisis, knowing how fully capable I am of to run my household, and I know everything that goes in and out of my bank account, knowing that my mother was very fully capable of running her household, and she knew exactly what was going in and out of her bank account and her house. When you run a country, people tell you things. President Obama knew what was going on in 2009. You can speculate, what do people know, when do they know it? And there's always plausible deniability. Oh, if you claim ignorance, yeah, oh, well, we should now watch over these companies. They know, they fucking know. They knew. It's just the same type of money grab manifesting in a different way. Will you ever get a confirmation of your theories, regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on? Yes and no. It just depends on what kind of theories the system wants you to know. And then you question what they're not saying. Or you question how they characterize something. They want you to perceive as one thing when it's something else in a particular context. Like, i.e., particle acceleration. When you look up the Large Hadron Collider and you look up CERN, they'll tell you one version of, yes, that's the truth too. But are they going to say, oh, we're also going to change the weather with it? Along with working with HARP and Wi-Fi and the cell towers and the chemtrails and all that stuff. It's a whole collective effort. No, you're just going to see whatever they want you to see in the websites. And when you're only looking at what is being told to you and not questioning what's not being told to you and then making connections over here, like a conspiracy theorist in, 1997, Mel Gibson. I'm not saying go crazy and destroy yourself with connecting the dots, but just realize that, okay, when someone presents you different information, like I did this morning with somebody, be like, yeah, okay, that actually is plausible too. Holy shit. But see, people don't want their illusions destroyed. So when I was saying that Don Lemon, when Daily Mail developed an article, wrote an article that Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson were texting each other. Fuck, they probably had drinks. Even when they were both playing both sides, their little game of war, I'm sure they had drinks behind closed doors. Texting each other. Okay? But then someone's like, well, is that a credible source? Like, that's what I would have said 10 years ago. Is that a credible source? Is Daily Mail a credible source? Every source out there, even you, is a credible source. It's what you're willing to believe or not believe. It's what illusion you want to adopt. If you want the illusion that freaking Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson hate each other and they're both in their little corners of Democrat, Republican, and that's the world that you want to live in, it's all about voting and, oh God, we're going to vote this and vote that. Hey, that's fine, that's your illusion. But then there's another side to the story that you could consider as a possibility, but then if you did consider it, it'd destroy your illusion. So I get it. Perception is reality. That's the whole fucking world. That's what people have to, that's what people are failing to recognize. Even when they're 60 or 70 years old, they're living in one illusion that it has an infrastructure. And for them to survive, if they see the other illusion of people say it's illusion because they don't believe it, right? Like the whole immortality and the whole J world and facing your demons and drinking milk and understanding salt. If that is going to tear down their illusions about life and health and peace and whatever it is, then they're going to stay in, well, I'm going to grow old with my family. I'm going to grow old with my friends. I'm going to die and pass away someday. And I'm going to go out with a bang and have as many experiences as I want. And that's great. And there are people that say, okay, maybe that's not the illusion that I want to stick with anymore. Give me another fucking choice. Some people are literally dying for another choice. And some people are giving them that choice. Others are withholding that choice from them because of so many different roadblocks. And so, even when you're believing that there's, okay, so will you ever get confirmation of your theories regardless of which side of the aisle you stand on? Yes and no. It just depends on what kind of theories the system wants you to know. And then you question what they're not saying, or you question how they characterize something they want you to perceive as one thing, when it's also something else, i.e. particle acceleration. Even when you are believing what they are saying, there's always another side to the story, just like looking at definitions in all the different contexts. It's right in your face. Sometimes you don't get a written context of what else is going on except a theory that is deniable, like plausible deniability. So when you look at definitions, you see the definition, like copy and paste a dictionary definition, and you see there's a context, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, all 3 of those are plausible, possible. And there's also a 4th context, 5th context that's not even written. Because you're not going to say, well, oh yeah, well, Bush and George Bush and Obama and Clinton and Nixon and Kennedy and all these people were all in collusion together, and it was, developed way back. They're not going to have a 4th context that said that 5 presidents, 6 presidents, 10 presidents were all in collusion on taking down America on some level because we're going through an evolution. No, you're not going to get that. That's another context out there that's unwritten that is then categorized as a conspiracy theory, and then there's another characterization of conspiracy theorists as someone desperate for attention that has other issues, or whatever the hell the DSM has categorized conspiracy theorists as. No different than what they did to the LGBTQ back in the 1960s, putting them in the DSM as some diagnosable condition. And I'm sure conspiracy theorists are a diagnosable condition in the DSM. Or maybe it's not, I don't know, I haven't checked the latest DSM. But eventually, probably even 20 years in the future, that'll be taken out if it's in there, just like the LGBTQ was taken out of the DSM. All right? So anyone that wants to diagnose you because you have a different illusion that you want as a choice are trying to defend that illusion until that has been completely exhausted and the outcome is, has been realized. And what is that outcome? It's called depopulation, the Georgia Guidestones. why you have to understand the bigger picture, not just your tiny little slice of the world. There's a bigger fucking picture going on. So you don't hear the unwritten context because the system does not want you to get confirmation. They are aware of other possibilities, or else they would have to answer why they didn't question it and stop it. And so if Obama says, well, I didn't know and wasn't even aware that they had developed those contracts or those products of extra credits for to get a loan, and you don't have to prove income or anything else. If you don't even if you say you're not even aware of it, there's another possibility. Nobody can say, well, you're aware of it. You get to plead ignorance. And so if what's not being said, categorized as a conspiracy theory, is a plausible deniability, that's how the world works, okay? As above, so below. That's the Hermetic system. Both are relevant, okay? So you have to understand how both sides of the world works. If you only want to know one side of it, then fine. If you know one side of it, but you want to go to only the other side, okay? And let's say you're alive and you want to be dead someday. Okay, well, that's your choice. I'm alive, I understand death. And that means evolution. It means the dying of the old way of doing things. And sometimes that's even an every weekend type of thing when the frequencies change. And so when I had that attack of the future, the demons, that was an attack of the past, of predispositions. See, Robert Headley's dealing with past predisposed issues. He has yet to be attacked by the demons of the future because he's still dealing with the past. And you guys have a lot of past to get through. Okay, neuropathy, all these different things are past issues that you have to deal with. And what did I deal with a couple days ago? I dealt with the demons of the future. What is it going to be like when everyone around me who I know is gone? When I'm looking at pictures of people that I knew in the 90s and like an ex-boyfriend that died a long time ago in the 90s, and I see like his sister and she looks like basically his mom, I'm like, holy shit. Wow. That's crazy. When you see people around you getting older, that's attack of the demons of the future. That's also painful. So I have my own demons of the future, as you have demons of the past. But I've dealt with my past. Physically, in body, in mind, and in spirit. Now it's the demons of the future. And so, yeah, the subprime mortgage crisis happened in 2007 to 2010, stemmed from an earlier expansion of mortgage credit, including borrowers who previously would have had difficulty getting mortgages, which both contributed to and was facilitated by rapidly rising home prices. Oh, yeah, there was a whole formula that was attached. And so planning means preparation, organization, arrangement, forethought, designing, drafting, working out, setting up. This is the positive sides of planning or conspiracy, right? The control of urban development by local government and authority, from which a license must be obtained to build a new property or change an existing one. Okay, to build a new society or change an existing one. It's called regional planning. It's called your planning commission. Okay, that's the government, like everyone's okay with that. Then there's conspiracy. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. She served 5 years in prison for taking part in a conspiracy to sell stolen artworks. Similar plotting, scheming, stratagem, plan, machination, cabal, intrigue, palace intrigue, deception, ploy, trick, ruse, dodge, subterfuge, sharp practice, frame up, fit up, racket, put up job, complot, coven. I never heard of that word. The action of plotting or conspiring. They were cleared of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Collusion, plotting, intrigue, connivance, like conniving, machination, collaboration. So then underneath that I put both George Bush and Barack Obama developed a fourth turning. Remember I said in my book, we're in a fourth turning of an 80-year cycle. Okay, both George Bush and Barack Obama developed a fourth turning of an 80-year cycle. 9/11 happened with George Bush, enronworld.com, enronworld.com, and then, Enron, and then world.com, WorldCom, and then mortgage crisis happened with Barack Obama, and then the conspiracy world. So the whole time through Barack Obama's tenure, it was the mortgage crisis, and then it was the conspiracy world. And you saw people wearing the Alex Jones stuff. When you find out Alex Jones is all inclusion with everyone, then you'd be like, what the fuck? But that's not going to happen for a while. But anyways, but people were wearing shirts from Alex Jones that had Barack Obama with like the Joker face. My husband wore that. We bought shirts from Alex Jones. Oh yeah, we put our money where our mouth was. We fell right into the conspiracy world. The whole anti-Obama, questioning him, then the whole 1960s and all of that, and you hear all about what's going on in the right-wing world. We're like, oh look, he was one of those students way back in the 1960s, part of the Black Panthers, and this and that, and what is it, the Weather Underground. That's why I learned about the Weather Underground too, because my mom didn't tell me about that. I learned that through the conspiracy world. See, everything is in plain sight. You just have to learn how to put it all together. All right. So the mortgage crisis happened with Barack Obama, and then the conspiracy world, and then Biden and Trump are just there to fuse the two together. Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon, they hang out together. Okay, so Bush's tenure as the 43rd president of the United States began with his first inauguration on January 20th, 2001. Okay, right when, not too long after that, then you have 9/11. So there we go, the starting of the fourth turning. And ended on January 20th, 2009. Bush, a Republican from Texas, took office following a narrow victory over Democratic incumbent Vice President Al Gore in the 2000 presidential election. I remember that. I was in Walnut Creek right after I was in Mississippi. Barack Obama's tenure as the 44th president of the United States began with his first inauguration January 20th, 2009. And I was in Elk Grove, California, watching that inauguration, just all hearts aflutter, like, oh gosh, the new savior. And ended on January 20th, 2017. That was just right after I discovered the J world. A Democrat from Illinois, Obama took office following a decisive victory over Republican nominee John McCain in the 2008 presidential election. And so then right after that, then we have climate change. Because 17, 18, 19, 20, 17, 18, 19, 2 years before climate change. And now we have what? Biden and, and Trump. I never would have suspected Trump would have. He's been around for a while. So the world is not what you think, okay? If you understand how people operate psychologically, you will know how they will react. It's not difficult when you play people against each other. That's what's going on for thousands. That's what's going on for thousands of years. But when you keep dying and reproducing, you don't have that knowledge. So the history is written by the winners and by your current society who wants to lead you in a specific way. Now that we have learned, now we have all this information at our fingertips, and we have 8 billion people projected to be 12.9 billion people, and we have the developing world who really is like us 50 years ago, have not a clue about how shit works, being guided by influencers who are going to take them down with all their fears around salt and sugar and milk. Oh yeah, it's so fucking predictable. I feel bad for the developing world. I seriously feel bad for them. They don't stand a chance against the American way of doing things, the psychological programming. They don't have what it takes to actually work with it, because they're coming from such a ground level type of situation, and whatever bones are being thrown to them, they're going to grab onto it, whatever it is. It's pretty insane. So being 50 years old has its privileges. I mean, I'm 49, so I round up. I have the gift of experience. Some people have experiences, but they have never tapped into their gifts of observation or questioning. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Because remember, they're comfortable in one of their illusions. It has an infrastructure that's giving them what they need at the time. Even though down the road it's going to work against them, they don't look at that. And that's human nature. They don't really look at the future. It's about today, today, today. And so another form of critical thinking, so planning equals conspiracy. Another form of critical thinking, as there are many forms, different forms, relative to how you perceive what critical thinking is and who is offering one context of it, especially academic situations. So when you're questioning the official narrative, make sure you can back up your questions with other plausible reasons. However, what is your intention? Because even if it is true, is there a solution of which people can survive the knowledge without destroying somebody else? And so with all the holistic stuff, and I've watched people just keep redeveloping the same thing. Oh yeah, don't use the garlic and honey and apple cider vinegar. Use this elderberry syrup. Okay, this is my solution. This is my solution to all the chemtrails. Here, use this C597 copper, whatever the hell. Oh, here's this new product that's all natural, right? And stay away from the milk, the meat, and the eggs, and the cheese, and the fruits, and the vegetables. Just eat air sandwiches, because at least air is not as poisonous as the food is, because they've tainted the food supply. All right? And so is your intention to make money off that fear? Well, look at all the MLMers selling you something over everything under the sun. Is your intention to give people opportunity to develop something different with a different outcome from what was originally intended? If you can prove that the other context that could produce a different outcome different from that action or activity. Now that was like, wow. So what I'm saying is, is your intention to give people something that's different, that will have a different outcome, that is not going to be the same as the usual outcomes. If you already plan to die anyways, it's not going to matter if you change to a sea moss or a pill or a powder or something or a detox if you're planning to die anyways. Okay? It won't make a fucking difference. So what are you doing? Repackaging the same thing? Yeah, that's what people are doing. They're repackaging the same thing. So what kind of evidence and possibility are you providing to your observers? Or is it the same thing repackaged? No different than the questions that you asked and developed a theory around. Okay, so when you ask a question, always questioning the official narrative, is the same questions met with the same answers. Here's another fucking pill. Here's another surgery. Here's another powder. Here's another supplement. Here's another manipulation, energy healing bullshit. And so I see the same fear of the Freemasons and the anti-Semitism being regurgitated by the same people in the same activist world, that I came from. In the chemtrails world, I see people posting stuff from people who are, look at this Freemason. Oh, look, the synagogue of Satan. Oh, look, the JEWS rule the world and they are destroying you. Okay? Thank you, Lori. And so I'm watching these people, and I'm like, I remember when I was doing that stuff, and I was in those worlds talking about the synagogue of Satan and all this stuff, and being posing as not being anti-Sem, but quite like flirting with that. My mom was so pissed. Like, we didn't talk for a while. She had to get off of Facebook because she was watching me go through this, and knowing that I came from Judaism, right? But that's what I had to go through to understand. I had to put that on and understand what was going on. The system is playing all of everyone against each other. That's the Rosicrucian. That's the Jewish mystics, the Christian Gnostics, the Hermetics. Not only divide and conquer, but divide and conquer. And so I see the same fears of Freemasons and the anti-Semitism being regurgitated by the same people in the same activist world, in the chemtrails world that I came from. That even I had to question myself and stay in that world for only a minute. What if your fear of the other religions was purposely developed so you never saw the bigger picture? What if you were being played against another religion? I'm not saying unify, because what are you unifying and what's your intention? And are you unifying to cause chaos? Are you unifying to destroy a minority regardless of who they are? And that could be the 1%. Your perception, you perceive as evil. And so you already see people in the chemtrails world already already hating the Jews, already hating the 1%, already hating Bill Gates and everyone already hating those that are pro-vaxxers, and people who are pro-vaxxers hate the anti-vaxxers. And it's all the same fucking shit. It's all the same fucking shit. Democrats hate the Republicans, Republicans hate the Democrats. When you hate a person, place, or thing, religion, politics, or science, and you have zero tolerance, and even I had to learn this, it's fucking difficult. First, figure out where your frustration comes from. Figure out your intention. If you don't understand how to speak life, everything that you're doing is provoking death. So what makes you so different than those who you think are destroying you? And that's what's going on in the chemtrail activist world, as I'm watching them do the same thing that I did 10 years ago, play in the whole anti-religion world, anti-Semitism, pro-Christianity. Okay? So I'm watching that in the fucking chemtrails world. I'm watching people still sell you the same prepackaged, repackaged massage therapies, energy healing, more fucking pills, powder, supplements, detoxes. It's like Groundhog Day. It's like, and people are like, just discovered sliced bread. It's crazy. Provoke, stimulate, or give rise to a reaction or emotion, typically a strong or unwelcome one in someone. The decision provoked a storm of protest from civil rights organizations, similar, arouse, produce, evoke, cause, give rise to. What do you think the Alex Jones world is doing to everybody? Provoking people into passing away, and all the pills, powder, supplements that he's selling on his channel, and all of his hanger-ons that have huge channels that get so much from their Patreon account. Do I sound jealous? No, but I'm just showing you that's how this is another war. And one day you'll find out that Alex Jones is all part of it all. But will you find out that now? No, because remember, he's now the third entity that says, okay, I was right. Alex Jones was right. Yeah, he was. He didn't tell you the full story, and he's selling you supplements. That should be an indicator. Oh, shit. But again, people want to live in their illusions that he's the savior. He's the next Jesus, just like Trump. People are worshiping Trump left and right, bowing down to him as if he's going to save us from Biden. Hello, they play together, just like Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. But could you tell them that? No, because they want to live in that little illusion that there's a savior and a demon. That's what makes it so crazy. And so then you have people that also think that what happened with Tucker and Don Lemon is organic, that Tucker is like destroyed, and that he's crying in his coffee. And so what's funny is those that claim they have higher vibrations. So what are you basing these vibrations on? When you don't match their high vibrations, they say something that lowers their own vibration, doing exactly what they say they do not do. Instead of claiming you have high vibrations or higher vibrations, just be you, guys. Just be you. Say what you got to say. Who cares if they're offended? If people are offended, fucking block and delete them, because they're going to say shit to you. So you don't need to characterize your vibrations as higher or lower than anybody else's. Just be. Don't force yourself to be something you're not, and then accuse someone of not being who you are when you just lowered yourself, making a judgment on someone else's vibrations. I don't really care about your vibrations. I'm telling you, when I go through my freaking newsfeed and I see someone saying this and that, if I don't like what they're saying, I just unfollow or unclick that post. Like, I don't like that post, so I'm just going to remove it from my feed. And if that person is just going off in such a long train of same thing that I don't agree with or whatever, I just unfollow them. And that's it. I don't say, hey, you should do this or that. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that. But even on my page, I'm not going to say like, oh God. No, I mean, I take gems. There's people that I don't agree with religiously, but they have certain gems. And I'm like, wow, this is really freaking awesome. And they probably don't like everything that I say, right? But they'll take certain gems from me and be like, hey, this is great. And they'll spin it in their direction, and it's still relevant on some level. And that's how we're able to cohabitate and still be like unified with our differences. And we're offering each other opportunities for respect and peace and life. And then we are each responsible for how long we want to live on this earth. And so don't force yourself to be something you're not, and then accuse someone of not being who you are when you just lowered yourself, making a judgment on someone else's vibration. I don't care about your vibrations. Be yourself. If we align, great. If not, I just move on. People trap themselves when they claim they are a higher, superior power. That's just like someone's like the Aryan Brotherhood or the Aryan race say they're better than the black population. When you say your vibration is higher than somebody else's, that you won't go beneath yourself to respond to someone because their vibration is lower than yours, that's like saying that black is better than white and white is better than black. It's just the same racism, intolerance, repackaged in energy. Okay, so you're going to see even that in the energy healing world. Well, I'm not going to respond to that vibration because it's beneath me. I am the end all be all. Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh shit, this person's full of themselves. Holy shit. And so people trap themselves when they claim they are of a higher superior power. And then they also told on themselves. Higher vibrations, low vibrations, all relative to where you're coming from. Who's to say you're the fucking baseline? Because you ain't. Maybe you're below someone else's baseline. So to claim that you have a vibration that is higher than somebody else is making an assumption. And maybe you're full of yourself. My energy is up and down. And I'm never flatlined. I evolve and I change and I fluctuate. Sometimes I'm calm. Some days I'm judgmental about the world. Some days I'm excited. But it's so nice to have a medium to express yourself without worrying about somebody calling you a racist or a phobic or something else. That you can just say what you need to say because you know how to say it. When you finally learn how to articulate something without coming off as one-sided, accusatory, and it's still a process. But we can still be critical of the world and still like the people who are critical of us because we found a common ground. Okay? And I believe, this is what I believe. We're trying to understand what makes us tick and better ourselves. I really believe everyone out there wants to better themselves on some level. I mean, it could be very minute and it could be in a direction that may be opposite of you, but everyone out there is trying to better themselves on some level. And sometimes our delivery with how we articulate our frustrations and perceptions don't always land in the way that we want it to land relative to someone's perception of what we're saying. Jesus Christ, okay, it's a lot. Regardless of how people react to my information, I'm still going to be me. Regardless of how I characterize all of you, whoever you are, you're still going to be you. You'll change if it's necessary or you won't, okay? That's the beauty of the world. We can cherry pick what we want from people and still appreciate who they are individually. And so you can cherry pick whatever information out of what I say or what I do and spin it, and that's fine, okay? Develop any kind of illusion you want to live in. That's your fucking right, all right? But you can't say that your illusion is the only way. Just like I can't say my illusion is the only way either. And we live our illusions. And we keep supporting our illusions with infrastructure. If my illusions are supported by infrastructure, then there's nothing wrong with my fucking illusions. Just like if your illusions are supported by infrastructure, have at it. Make sure you're lawful. If someone ever asks me what do I mean by this, or what did you mean by this, I'll be more than happy to explain it further. Is my energy any better or worse than anybody else's? It's all relative to perspective. Instead of characterizing energy as better or worse, why characterize energy at all? All we're doing is filtering our perceptions through our own energy. And you're not monotone or flatline. So someone else's energy could be the reflection of you that you could get back, and then you're just looking in the mirror. And someone else's negative energy recognizes your negative energy. Just like when Echo, Maya, Connors was saying that my God recognizes the God in you. Fucking brilliant. All right. So somebody else is okay. And so somebody else's negative energy recognizes your negative energy, and you don't like what you see. If you see beauty in yourself, you'll see beauty in other people. If you see angst in yourself, you'll see angst in other people. The key thing is never be in the same position all the time. You can see the brokenness in yourself and in other people, and also see the beauty in yourself and other people, and see the possibility in yourself and other people. So if you don't see possibility in yourself, you will never fucking see possibility in anybody else. If you see possibility in yourself, you will see possibility in everybody, because you know they have what it takes. They just need confirmation that someone fucking believes in them. Okay? That's recognizing every aspect of yourself without flatlining or being monotone or put that judgment of how you should be energetic-wise. So go eat some ice cream and feed your demons. And so that's the thing about truth and illusion and infrastructure. If your truth and illusion is supported by an infrastructure that you can survive on and give you whatever it is that you need at the time, that is awesome. That's tolerance. It's when you're intolerant to someone else's illusions and belief systems. Even though they have given you an infrastructure, you're intolerant to them. Because that's what they need to survive. And whether it's LGBTQ, the J world, those that believe people should die someday, to those that are Democrat, Republican, libertarian, starseed, energy healing, love, 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 hate, 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 angst, 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 all about their fishing, their boats, everything out there in the world. If their infrastructure supports them in keeping them sane and out of trouble and not breaking the law, support it. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. Doesn't mean you have to live that way. But enjoy them. Appreciate them. And I've had to learn that. Okay? It's hard. Because again, the natural way of doing things, the way we've been taught, is to always convert someone in the image of ourselves. Always converting someone in the image of ourselves. Not always possible. All right, I gotta blow my nose. Holy crap. I went this long without blowing my nose. All right, you have a good day. Bye.